Good morning. Well, I've just come downstairs to a smell that I couldn't quite identify, only to realise that I put a lamb stew in the slow cooker yesterday and left it on all night, which is fine with a slow cooker, except I left it on high. And it's basically burnt to a crisp. Oh, I can't look. It's burnt right around the edges.
I didn't want to eat it.
You wouldn't, would you? Do you want to have a look then? I think I put in yesterday's vlog that I am by no means an expert. Far from it. And the fact that I can burn food in a slow cooker, that kind of gives you an indication of how much of an expert I am not. That's really annoyed me. Such a waste. Of food, of money, of time, of enthusiasm. When things go wrong, I find it really difficult to sort of shake it off. They bug me. My friend says one of my drivers, one of my personality drivers is perfection, which I think is quite ironic because I don't mind a messy house and a messy me. But if I'm going to do something, it needs to be done properly. So I suppose there's some truth in that.
Do you think Rick likes to be videoed?
I don't think he understands.
No.
If he really liked it, he'd do a tap dance, wouldn't he? Wouldn't you? You'd perform for us. But no. So maybe he doesn't like it.
Well, maybe he does like it a bit.
I think all he thinks is we're waving something in his face and it's not food, so therefore it's not that exciting. That's all I think.
Hello.
Hello. You look amazing. Whoa.
And the best thing about it is I can see.
You can see, can you?
That's quite handy.
Yeah.
And its tail is my nose.
Right, Mr. Dragonfly, it's time to go to school, so please go up. You can keep that on. Please go upstairs.
It feels weird.
It feels weird, does it? Albert, upstairs toilet.
Okay.
And what else? Teeth. Paul's working from home today because the car is due for an MOT, so we've just dropped the car off and walked back. So it only takes 20 minutes, but that's my 20 minutes worth of...
Up, legs down.
That's my 20 minutes of exercise done for the day, which is good because any minute now my mum's going to be here and we're going to the supermarket and then the kids will be home. And then I'm going on another course this evening and then that will be the day done. It's not very exciting today. I wouldn't bother watching if I were you. It's currently 7:30 in the evening. I have driven for an hour to get to this course. I have come out of the meeting for two reasons. One, that it became clear incredibly quickly to me that I was entirely and completely out of my intellectual depth. And number two, that I wasn't expecting it to be such a long meeting. I am aware of myself. I know I would have gradually found it harder and harder, and that would have been harder and harder to hide. And rather than sort of politely slip away with some random explanation of babysitters, which is a complete lie. I hate lying to people. Instead of that, it would have been bigger, been more. Am I a failure because I didn't stay to the end? Or would I have been a failure if I had stayed to the end and created more disruption for myself? Or am I successful because at least I got here? My natural urge is to just stay at home. Other people must give more than I do. They must have more to give. So now I've got to drive all that way back home again. And then when I get home I have to explain this all. And I don't even really understand it myself. About 40 minutes. I've been driving for about 40 minutes and I had to pull the car over because my brain's just all over the place with thoughts and stuff. And I think I've said before the beauty of this process is that I can unwind my thoughts and my feelings without the use of anybody else. I was thinking as I was driving, I am surprised I am not more upset. I was quite tearful. Basically the last time this happened I had a panic attack, there's no two ways about it. It was a significant panic attack. And it occurred to me as I was driving back that that's not what happened this time. I didn't panic at all. There was a very reasoned thought process going on. I knew I could stay. I understood that I would be able to garner even just 5% of information from what was being said and told, and I would be able to apply at least some of that to myself. And any information is good information. I knew all of that. So actually, I didn't walk out in a panic or I didn't freak out. I did decide reasonably quickly that that wasn't for me, and had they said that the meeting was half an hour shorter than I expected rather than going to be half an hour longer, would that have changed my opinion? Could well have done. But you know what? There's no crime in that. There's no crime in being tired and having a fixed limit to what I can deal with on a particular day. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't make me a failure. Maybe freaking out, having a dramatic panic attack to something that doesn't demand that reaction. I would argue that that doesn't make me a failure either, but perhaps not having that reaction when that is what I would have expected from myself is so far from a failure that it's actually a success. So now, 45 minutes on, having had time to drive and think and talk, I haven't failed. Didn't go quite how I wanted it to. There are no two ways about that. But you know what I tell my children? I tell my children we do not measure ourselves against other people. That is not how it works. We are all supposed to be different. We are supposed to think differently and feel differently and react differently. And I think it may have taken me nearly 40 years, but I think I have worked out that I do think and act and feel quite differently to an awful lot of people. And aside from sometimes making life difficult for myself, that's actually okay. I don't go home triumphant. I certainly don't. But I'm not going home having failed. I use that word a lot. I don't go home having failed. I don't. I go home having handled a situation my way. And as long as I am okay with that, and I understand why I did that, and I continue to forge ahead, even with baby steps, then that's okay. Then that's good. It's more than good, actually. It's pretty great. So I'm going to carry on now. I've got another 15, probably not even that actually, 10, 12 minutes until I get home. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to talk it over with my lovely husband. But I think I'm okay, actually.